Ochai Agbaji really struggled for the Raptors after arriving in a trade from the Utah Jazz, and if the struggles continue this season, the Raptors will have a major decision to make. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Amateur Sports 2, the second channel in the Amateur Hour Production Network, where we go through additional Raptors content in videos just like this. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel and drop a like if you enjoy along the way. Check out the main channel, Amateur Sports. And the reason we have this second channel in place is so that I can do fun videos about a guy like Ochai Agbaji, who maybe there's not enough people necessarily interested in a full video on the main channel with over 17,000 subs on a player like that. But hey, the nearly 2,000 sickos that are subscribed to this channel over here, if you're here, you want to go into the depths of the Toronto Raptors potentially, and that is what we are going to be doing today, talking about what we should be expecting from the player this season, and if he doesn't meet those expectations, what are the Raptors going to do? I just remembered, actually, this channel does have over 2,000 subs. It's not under, but let's dive into it. So, Ochai Agbaji, how did he end up on the Raptors? What is his journey into the NBA? Well, people may forget, people may not know. Not only was he drafted in the lottery, he was drafted in the lottery by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2022. And funny enough, the graphic that I pulled up here, CBS Sports gave this pick an A+, an A+ for Agbaji. Coming out of college, he went to Kansas, where he put up, honestly, really good numbers. He's a 4-year player, so take it for what it is. It is a player as a senior who averaged 18.8 points per game, 47.5% shooting from the field, over 40% shooting from three. And we all know from the Raptors days, he struggled, but he's a good defender. So you have really good three-point shooting, you have really good scoring, and you have really good defense. Yeah, seemed like for 14th overall, despite the player being one of the older players in the class, being a senior, seemed like a really good pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers. However, he never got the opportunity to play for the Cavs because the summer of 2022, when he was drafted by the Cavaliers, was the summer where Cleveland traded for Donovan Mitchell. And one of the blue chip pieces they had to trade was, hey, this recent lottery-picked player they had in Ochai Agbaji. So Agbaji was then sent to the Utah Jazz, involved in the Donovan Mitchell trade. And, year one maybe wasn't super glamorous, but it was pretty good still. I'm looking at it right now. 8 points per game, 43% shooting from the field, nearly 36% shooting from three. Yeah, solid season for a rookie. I know he's already 22 years old, but solid season for a rookie. Reason for optimism. Those statistics didn't really carry over into his sophomore season, where he averaged 6 points per game on under 30% shooting from the field and about under 30% shooting from three and about 41% shooting from the field. His effective field goal percentage dropped from 53, which is pretty good for a rookie, quite good for a rookie, down to under 50% at 58.3% overall on the season. With the Jazz, it was 5.4 points per game, was 33% shooting from the field, 43% shooting. I keep mistaking this. 33% shooting from three, 43% shooting from the field. So it was a slight regression, but not too bad. Those numbers fell off a cliff for the Raptors. All of a sudden, he couldn't hit a three. He shot 22% from three for the Raptors. His minutes increased. His role increased. His output decreased. Not overall output, because he scored more because he had more minutes, more assists because he had more minutes, more rebounds, more minutes. The caliber of output decreased because he could not hit a three anymore. It's okay because he's not on a big contract, but he's a team option at the end of the season. This year he's making $4.3 million. Next year he'd be making $6.3 million. But things have got to change pretty quickly for the player. From watching him in Summer League, it was shocking. Breaking like character here, it was shocking. Usually if you're a third-year player, you shouldn't be playing in Summer League, especially if you're a former lottery pick. You should not be playing in Summer League if you're a third-year player. You should be too good to have to play Summer League. But at least, if you're a third-year player who kind of coming off of some struggles in year two, you go into Summer League, you play against lesser competition. You play them off the court. You play like 1 or 2 games, the team goes, all right, you're good. Okay, you're clearly good. That wasn't the case for Ochai Agbaji. When I saw him in Summer League, he did not look like a player who was a former lottery pick going into his 3rd season. He looked like just another guy at Las Vegas Summer League in the NBA. Did not stand out, did not look like he was too good for Summer League. Like if you're a player who's going to be getting rotation minutes for an NBA team, you have to look too good for Summer League. Agbaji at times looked questionably not good enough for Summer League. He's looked better in preseason, but it's time to put up for the Raptors. What has to change for the player to have a successful season, and what happens if that doesn't happen for the player? Well, first of all, what needs to happen for it to be a successful season? Agbaji needs to hit 33% of his threes. Like, forget 22. He needs to hit 33. His offensive game is just not good enough to not be hitting at a somewhat serviceable level, which is what I'd say 33% or so is. With that, maybe won't be taking a ton of 2s because he took a lot because the team was tanking, the team was shit. But when the team is pretty good, can we get that field percentage back up to like 43 or so? I'm okay with that. That's something that's acceptable. But he's clearly a capable defender. Like, he's shown that. He had to take a big load defensively last season and looked decently impressive in doing that. He's looked pretty good in preseason in doing that as well. One of the only Raptors players right now who brings size to the forward positions where he can play defense. So, talented defender, no doubt. There is a place that in the NBA, you have to do something on offense. And for him, he has to knock down some threes. The open ones have to fall. It's just, they have to. You can't have him wide open, not hitting those shots. The defense needs to slightly care about him. And if he's hitting 33% of his threes, he can do that. He can get his points in the range of, 6 to 7 again, but doing so efficiently. That is a player that can be dangerous on the floor. That's a player who can provide you really good 3-and-D minutes off the bench. And that's what it's going to take. It's just going to come down to knocking down shots. Here's a player who hit 40% in college. I don't know what it was about the situation in Toronto where this guy went from 33% shooting from 3 in Utah down to 22 for the Raptors, but clearly he's a player who's better than what he showed and needs to put that up. If he doesn't, what's going to happen? Like I've been saying about the Raptors in the offseason here, it's not a great bench, but it's deep with talent. Like, not upper tier talent, but to me, there's a lot of NBA caliber, like end of rotation NBA caliber guys on the Raptors roster fighting for limited amount of bench positions. So it's not upper tier bench quality, but it's just a lot of decent stuff. So if Agbaji isn't playing well, honestly, I think his defense might still give him the opportunity to get play time, but there's a very realistic possibility he could just completely fall out of rotation and fall into NBA obscurity if that's the case. Like, the Raptors will not be that good this season. They're going to win probably low 30s for games. They're probably going to not make the play-in tournament. They actually might be close in the East, to be honest. They might be close to making the play-in tournament in the East if they win 33 games. Last season, 36 was enough to make the play-in tournament, but it might be 35 this year, to be honest. But nonetheless, if he's not cracking the rotation on the Raptors, he's going to struggle to crack rotation in a lot of places around the league, and he could absolutely fall into obscurity. I think $6.8 million, which is the last year of his contract, is a little bit too cheap not to take for a guy who does possess 3-and-D potential. But like I said, things can fade away really quickly. And if he falls out of rotation completely with Toronto, he could be in big trouble as far as his future in the league is concerned. But I still feel like there's talent in there. I think a lot of the fan base has turned, but I still see a good defender, which, like, you're really locking in on that side of the floor. You see it. He's just got to get the confidence up. Like, you can't just forget how to shoot, right? You can't just forget. Like, I know it's a shorter 3-point line, but he hit 35.5% in his rookie season in the NBA. That's somewhere in there, and the Raptors have to find that, and Ochai Agbaji himself has to find that. So what do you make of his future? What are you expecting from the player this season? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. That's the end of today's video. Check out my other channels, my main channel, Amateur Sports, for more Raptors content with over 17,000 subs. The Stream Clips channel, the best stream clips and highlights from the streams on this channel. Subscribe to the channel you're currently watching on. Here's a video you might also enjoy, and I'll see you again next time for another video.